Good evening. Oh, I have all these stripes in my screen. Let's start the show. Still, all these stripes in my screen. Why are the stripes? Oh, that's the reason. I know. That's the one. My UI lights are messing with my screen refresh and showing some banding. That's not what we want. Welcome. It's the first stream for today, not only for today, for this week. And it's there's a lot going on. There's the Build conference, Microsoft Build conference, with all these announcements coming up in hardware and software and whatnot. And I got my Solo Keys hardware thingy. Come on. Will it show it? There it is. Oops. And now I'm pulling my headphones off. I need a wireless headphone, I think. Yeah, these are the Solo Keys. Hardware security keys. Kickstarter from 16 months ago. And I paid 16 months ago. And I just received them this weekend. By surprise. I wasn't expecting that. But anyway, need to dive into that because it's open source and it's I think it's driven by Python or something. And I know nothing about Python, how to do that, and so maybe one of the next sessions, maybe dive into that, see what we can do with it. But for now, let's leave that and go to the code window. Code window, there it is. So last week we more or less finalized the entity framework thing on the website to allow to log in. And let's have a quick look at my projects to see what's on the backlog there. Software in software, this website. Let's first try run the software local on the local machine and see if we need to fix some things there. I think we need to wrap some things up there. Software in software. Wait for it to load. It's still loading, it's slow today. And if you can remember, I had it completely working on the client side, on the local machine. And then we deployed it to Azure and that was failing. And I did some research on that. And apparently the issue was, as we could expect, is that the password used on Azure, in the secret used on Azure, didn't have a symbol in it. And it was one of the requirements was to have at least upper character, lower character, a number, and some symbol. But also the error message was not working. So there was no notification to tell us what was going wrong there. But we'll see how that works today. Let's start with a clean thing there by removing the database. here are my super secret stuff that we are going to push in the database on the local machine. That won't be the one deployed, so don't worry. Don't worry that is changed in production. Let's run this. So I also put some security things on the API calls and on the pages itself, on the Razor pages. So if you're not logged in, you don't see the content of the page. I changed my camera to aperture mode. And by doing so, I now have a focal point from 1.4 30mm lens, and that gives me a nice bokeh on the background. But if I then turn on the UV lights, as you already could see on the opening of the video, then it starts to give some stripes there. That's called banding. And that has to do something with the frequency of the LEDs in the product. Apparently the lights from Elgato don't have any issue with that. They don't produce this banding. Let's go to the website here, and the videos are actually loaded from the YouTube API, and the gear should also be generated there. It's also generated from scratch. And now we see an init thing and a login thing. There's nothing to log in because if we press this init, you can see there are currently 0 users in the database. So we have to initialize the database there, and that will give a success if everything goes right. F5, and I had the breakpoints here to check if it was going right, and I also updated now the users right after doing the initialization. So now I have 1 user, and that should be the user that is put into the secrets, like here. So we should have this user, because we always need at least one user that has access to the database, and with the password like this, copy, submit. Now I'm logged in and I have admin page, admin rights. So if I go to the admin page, you now can see that I'm authenticated. I did a check on that. And you can see that if you go to the code here and go to the solution and then go to like the admin page, this one, you'll see that whenever you're authorized, you'll see that you need to be authorized to see things. And if you are authorized, and we are now, you can only see this content if you're that's the other way around. If you're authenticated and it's showing your name there with the context user identity. There's the ID, and there's the ID, and now if I log out here, the admin page goes away. I do have the register page, by the way. That's interesting. Because that one, yeah, is also empty because there's no authentication at this time. Interesting part is that if you run this from start, like from home, Let's reload it. See if the register is also there. There's the register also. I thought the register was not there when it was just initialized. Let's try do that again. Throw away the database. And start again. And I also want to check quickly if we change the app settings here to something that should not be right. Test, test, test. Only lower caps, no uppercase stuff there. The length should be okay. Let's see what the error message will be if we going to do an initialize in the first startup of the website. I probably have to hit the cough knob several times. Knob, button, slider, because I'm coughing my lungs out every now and then. No, it's not COVID. There's the register. We still have a register and we are not logged in. And we don't have anything to log in because there's no user there. I probably should also check this. If there's no user, then don't show the login there. JSON edits, JSON edits. Is Windows authentication the only way to automatically log in via domain login if the project is published in-house with the domain? Like single sign-on? Automatically log in via domain login if the project is published in-house with the domain. The only way to do that that I can think of is that you need to implement single sign-on, and this one is using like the JSON web tokens, JWT. Is it in the model? I think no. Like with tokens, claims, but the downside of using single sign-on. So is it your goal to have a automatically logged in, or is it or don't you want to have that automatically log in? Because if you're on a different platform, then you also have to take into account some other things. There are some extensions, I think, for like the Windows account thing for Google. If I start Chrome, let's see if the accounts thing is in there. No, account thing is not in here. Windows account. Windows account, Chrome extension. And I'm not logged in here. That's the one that I was thinking about. You can add this. Then you have to sign in with the with both the Google account and no, I don't think you need to log in with Chrome with the Google account, but you do need to log in with the Windows account, I think, by signing in. Then pick one of your credentials, and then whenever you then hit the like the resources of Office, for instance, then you should automatically be logged in already, signed in, I should say. But that's a complete different cookie than. Well, it's literally. This is using cookies, I think, with the tokens. There is, by the way, a single sign-on sample. If you go to GitHub, there's an Office add-in sample, but I'm not sure if that's your goal. There's a samples thingy there, and there should be a single sign-on thing there on Outlook, I think. Where is it? Yeah, it should be in here, I think. Contextual, set signature. Oh, maybe it was removed. Single sign-on within this repository. There's the one. Oh, it's in the sample, in the auth sample. So Office add-in samples, and then you have this auth thingy there. And it's showing all kinds of other types as well. Samples show how to authenticate users in Office and how to authorize add-ins, Microsoft Graph, and external resources. That's this one. Let's copy that in the chat there. If you like, you can have a look at that. Well, there's a security thing that needs to be bumped up to a new version. Let's see. I was trying to do the initialize. There's no current user now. I do the initialize there, and I'm running into adding the specific user using these credentials, and that should have an invalid password. If we continue with this, F5, F5. Oh, there's even more. At least non-alphanumerical characters and some digits and some uppercase stuff. So there's 3 issues, and it did not create the error. And like last week, we did not get the error. They were not updated because the code did not have the status changed thingy there. And that was also the reason why the user count was not upped to with 1. So let's fix the password there from the initial setup. So if you pull this code from GitHub, then you get the JSON Web Token solution. Test 1, 2, 3, 4 - bang. Now let's run this again. These are obviously all fake values that you just have here for development. And while you go in production, you should override that with the Azure secrets or wherever you are loading your application. There's the thingy again. Still 0 users. Initialized database. And now we go in there again. F5, F5. And now we have 1 user in there, and that should be the one that's called Joe@Docus. Someone owns this domain, but I'm using that. It's a Dutch figure, Joe Docus. But there's probably someone has registered that account. 1, 2, 3, 4 -bang. If I let it fail, I take the bang off. That's submit, you get the error, that's invalid. I now add the bang again. And now we are in. The user is logged in. The admin page is there. The interesting thing is that I have the register thing should only be if there's someone logged in, and it's showing when no one is logged in. The admin page showing that it's authenticated. So we now can do some admin things in here. So that works. I can also go to the production site, like www.softtestingsoftware.com. This is the exact same website that's running in production. And well, there's nothing to register because I'm not logged in, but it should not show it in here, so we need to fix that. And there's also nothing to log in because there's no user. There is a user, by the way, so I can log in here. And if I go to the credentials, if I can find that, copy the username, and then copy the credentials, submit. See, that's now also working, and I have an admin page here as well. And this is in production, so that's also working, and that was what I fixed last night. I did it off stream, obviously, because there's too much going back and forth, setting security secrets and stuff like that, and we don't want to have a full live stream looking at this one, because that will be quite boring. Obviously it's already quite boring in the live stream here, but it will be even worse if you have the secret screen all day long. So let's close all of this and have a look at the register thingy there. There's some initialization information, debug info there. Let's have a look at the navigation bar, navigation menu. At this time, the login information is stored in the login display component, and that's in here. So if you're not authorized, you are allowed to register, but that's not what I want. I want to move that to the authorized part, because as an admin, I like to create new users, for instance. And as it's the authentication part is basically only meant to be putting some maintenance on the website, and usually that's only me. For that reason, I have the starter add-in user added to the system. So now if we are authorized, we show the admin page, and we show the register page, and we show the log off page, the logout page. That's also showing the currently logged in username. If you're not authorized, you have the login page. And basically that should only be visible if there's one, at least one user available. We should also be able to turn this around if there's no user. Let's say user count is larger than 0, then we show the login. This is really the interesting part, doing this in C#, and I currently don't have the user count here. That will complain, else why is all this squiggly stuff cannot convert by, because we're not running things. Some of the return types in the block are not implicitly convertible to the delegate return type. That's interesting, but I think it's failing on this one. So let's go to the admin page. No, the init page, because that's also showing the user count here. Same thing. Go to the code behind code. Now we should have a property there, like user count. Put that on the navigation part. The login display part. On code. Oh, we don't have code here. Okay, so we need to add that. Add class. We should name that the same as the eraser component. Login display razor.cs C#. And that class should have, let's see if it's still on my buffer. It is. And now it's referenced once. -1. Let's start with -1. Missing partial. Oh yeah, that's true. Because if you look at this, you should see that the class is obviously a partial and should be public. There, public, partial. Because Blazor is generating a partial class in the background. Namespace should also be correct because it's in the shared part there. Now let's go to the UI part there. It's no longer complaining, but we also need to count the user count while the component is loading, just like this one. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Copy that. Well, maybe just copy the complete part here. Get user count. Copy. And that will give us some duplicate code, so it would be better to do that somewhere different. But for now, let's take this in here for ease of use. But it's a code smell by having multiple things in there. Client factory. Oh. The client factory is also that we need to inject there. Copy. Injecting the client factory, and now we have to update some usings there. Using text, JSON text. There's another error there. The injection that needs the ASP.NET Core components, so that now should match somewhat like this. No, not this one. This one. The JSON text, and well, the shared model is not used by us. Yeah. Let's take out the break here. It's no longer necessary because we tested it and approved it. What's this? Inherited. Good. I'm a bit thirsty today. That should be it, I think. Well, let's quickly run this. Let's also delete the database again, so that we know that we're starting from scratch. F5. It's closed unexpectedly. I don't know why. Oh, it's still logged in. That's not even possible because that has no users. So now you can see there's only an init and no longer a register anymore, but the init should show that there is 0 users. That's true. And I think the layout and the location of these buttons should be somewhat better. Let's see, like one of these, maybe. Oh, I also need the ideas page. The blog page. It should also be a button, I think. There's no contact yet. Just my Twitter page. Should be live streaming. Yes, we are live streaming today. In it again, 0 user. Now I'm going to initialize it. There's now 1 user. But this is not refreshing. we completely change this, now the initialization is gone and the register is gone because we are not logged in. I need to redo this because I want to know if the login appears. Let's throw out the databases once more. Let's run this. Nadjert, Mr. Martin, good evening. If you'll excuse me, I'd like to ask a question. You can always ask a question, you know that, and Jason also asked a question already. I actually like people asking questions in the chat. Gives a bit of lively interaction with the team members from the chat. Software in software team. Now we only have the init because there's no users in the database yet. And if I click initialize DB, there's now one user in, but it did not update the navigation menu. So I need to find out how to do that. Force refresh on the nav menu. Or at least the display thingy. Because I've refreshed that, now it should give a login. There it is. How can I refresh the Bootstrap navbar? Refresh navbar. While not navigating. How to reload or refresh the component of a page. You once advised me to open a YouTube channel. You said it would help you find a job. Is it enough to fill my GitHub account with quality projects, or should I also transfer my information to YouTube? I think I did it the other way around. Like YouTube. If you go to YouTube, soft as in software, as in software. So what I did there was put, I think, where is it? Oh, I should show the other way around. Like GitHub. Where's GitHub? Here, GitHub, and go to my profile. And in here, what you can do is every GitHub, you probably already know that. You can create a README file, and the README file is automatically loaded on your profile. And I here have my follow me on Twitch thing, and the follow me on YouTube thing. But you want to be discoverable, obviously, also on YouTube. And it's also it's always a chicken egg issue if you want to be found somewhere. Like if I Google here, and why is it all Dutch? That's not really helping. Google search. Let's go to English for easier understanding on all of you. Oh, why is this? That's not what I had in mind. Here, and I'm looking for myself, Maarten van Stam. You'll see that you'll be completely crazy. And as you can see, I have some nice tan over here, but that's not me. And here I'm completely untanned, but that's also not me. Looking for images. Ah, interesting, that's me in the office. And there's one. I would expect much more there. There's my blog on an old blog page. And there's a blog post also from an old blog. But if I search for soft as in software, there's my blog. Yeah, I need to fix that still because that's my main image. Let's go to the let's go to soft as in software. And go to all. Type it in again. Soft as in software. That's not showing here. It's here. Only 1, 2, 3, 4. The fifth in the line. That should be a little bit better, but you can see here, and that's one thing that I need to fix, is that the searchability thing is not available in a Blazor WebAssembly option in here, because it's basically showing the loading page, soft as in software. It crawled this page with the loading there and not this one. So that's also we need something that I need to fix. If I go to the projects and then my projects, soft as in software, let's see if it's already in the list. Check expiration on the JWT token. If a YouTube video, add gear, fix initializer, only seed if needed, reset seed option. If live show is running, create private, new J, create a user secret option. That's already what I'm building in there. Web admin page. What was I looking for again? Oh yeah, the searchability. Google. Add SEO to Blazor website, WASM website. That's one solution. But there is also another option like pre-rendering, I think. But to get back to your question, some other thing that I do is I created this page like about.me, and then my user ID. This is basically a small about me thing with information on me. And if some website needs information like a profile, then I'm pointing to this one, and this has all the items there. Twitter, there's Twitter, and there's Facebook. You need to log in for Facebook. WordPress, that's the old one, so that should fix that. LinkedIn, you need to log in for LinkedIn again. GitHub, Twitch, oh, that is also needs to fix. I'm quite behind on a lot of things. What's this? Stack Overflow, my Stack Overflow account, and YouTube. That should also be fixed. Because that's also should be software here. That's much better. What skills should a front-end developer have? That depends on what is your portfolio project. No, not your portfolio project. What is your portfolio? That's important because you need to explain to people that you, for instance, if you are a Blazor developer, that means you have some knowledge on HTML, CSS, JavaScript, C#, and things like that. That's front end. But my experience is that you will never have enough only covering front end these days. So how will you be developing just the front end here if you don't have anything in the back, like in this case for the database thingy? You need to interact with the database as well. You can obviously say, well, the front end, you can also say the entity framework APIs is partly on the front end. But yeah, I think that's more like the business logic, and you need to know things on the business logic as well. And that if you look at that, then you will also need to have knowledge of like the API. And with the API, you get into like a SQLite. In this case, it's using SQLite. Where is it? Oh, it's obviously in the settings. It's pointing to a SQLite database in the backend. If you change it over to SQL, then you have another. There's the use SQLite. You can also change that into SQL. That means you need to be some sort of a database developer as well. So I think there's no employer who will ask for you just for being a front-end developer. You can obviously specialize as a front-end developer, but yeah, you always need to know something about the back-end as well. And if you're talking about front end, then you also need to probably know things about Swagger or in this case like the course cross origin policies. We have set a limitation on who is accessing the API. You also need to know that. In this case, you also see there's a memory caching, so yeah, that's much more than just the front end. I use here the Google YouTube APIs just to show the videos in the list. Let's clean this up a little bit because it's already a mess. Also, let me add first here that I need to put a couple of things in there. Add CEO option, pre-rendering, question mark. Make the website searchable. Is that how you say it? No. Searchable for the Google robot. Add. And then I need to put in my quick notes, my sticky notes, that I need to update my about.me /AAFVASTAM site, my portfolio site. https:// about me. As I understand, I need to know these: MongoDB, Express, Node.js, React. That's all a matter of choice, because these days it used to be what was it, Angular, but not so much these days anymore. React is much more adopted than Angular, but Vue is also quite popular. So there's a lot of people looking for job opening, like the Vue framework. This one has Vue in the list. This one of Vue.js. So it all depends on what you're looking for. Obviously, if you go to React, that's also, there are as many options as available. This one is React. Let's check on what's it called, Angular. See, there are all flavors are there. This one is also this is interesting because this is looking for both .NET C# and Angular. How is this looking for all these items? Yeah, I'm not going in there now, at least. So let's have a check on Blazor, for instance, if that's popular already. Blazor. There's only one in here. I'm obviously searching in the area of the Netherlands. What's your advice on finding a remote? There's so many remote jobs. I think at this time there are much more job openings than compared to the people available. Everyone said React. Well, I'm pretty sure it depends on who you ask. If you are in enterprise environments, usually they are in a Microsoft context, then you might be better off doing Blazor. But if you look at the amount of people using it, I think there's on Stack Overflow, there's a Stack Overflow developer survey 2022 results. Amine Jadid. Did you change your name again? Let's accept this for now. Survey is now open. Where's the results? Don't miss the detail that I'm self-taught, but what? But what? So I basically also learned everything myself, but I also am a graduate on computer science, my bachelor degree on computer science. But before getting that, I was also self-taught. Read the overview. So now 2022. 2022. That's not there. 2021. Read the overview. Learning how to code web frameworks. There it is. Oh, you also have Svelte. There you are. Wow. Loved versus dreaded. This is how people find programming using the framework. So this is from the point of view from the developer, and this is from the point of view of the employer. So I'm quite surprised that the amount of Svelte is 71%, just at the same level of ASP.NET Core. See, that's a rising star, I think. Then you have React. Let's have a look at the want section. And there you can see it's React. So if you are looking at people asking for developers to join the team, the highest demand is for React, Vue, and then Angular, Svelte, ASP.NET Core is only on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9th place, while the ASP.NET, the old one, is even worse. That's more down the drain. It's almost tipping off. Although if you look at the Ruby, that's also not really not high. This even 5%. That's so low on the demand area. So indeed, on your position, I would focus on React. But that might soon change. Let's have a look how that's on the languages part. Programming. There's the languages. The loved part for languages is somehow Rust, Clojure, TypeScript. TypeScript is really high on the likability scale. Quite surprised on that. C# is not that high. But it's where's TypeScript, JavaScript here. JavaScript is already below C#. But let's see who is asking for that. That's another surprise. Python requesting is much higher than all others, like the top one. While JavaScript, as you just know, that is hated by most people, still is on the number 3 list for the employer to have you do that, to work for you using JavaScript. And let's be honest, even if you are working in Blazor, you still need JavaScript at for some parts. And but if you ask me, if you learn a language, programming in a language, you basically learn all the languages. There's only it's like a normal language. It's just a dialect, and if you learn a language, if you're capable of learning languages, it's getting easier to learn more languages. Because even if you are, for instance, working on C# and someone asks you to develop on C or C++, that's a complete different beast, and you can, burn your fingers on that. Interesting is that Visual Basic for applications like the Office language is only 0.39%, while I'm pretty sure that's used a lot in companies, in big companies. So if you want to have a look at it and see what's popular and what not, and what is asked for, let's put this link in the chat here. So have a look at that and make your decisions based on that. You need to be careful though, because the survey is done in the context of Stack Overflow. That's already an area where a lot of developers are getting in. And if you ask normal people, the normals in the world, well, they probably would care less if you use the one or the other. That just says, then can I get some very clear advice from you, like that language, that technology? What would you do if you were in my place to Europe and America to find a remote job in 5 or 6 months? First of all, I don't think you need to wait 5 or 6 months. I think the market is so overheated that many of the employees also allow you to learn on the job. Try to ask for employers to give you a learn on the job position. I started myself at a company that was outsourcing people, and there was a different rate for the new people coming into the company, and they were learning a language or whatever, and then they were put on the contract with the absolute knowledge by the buyer, the customer, knowing that you are learning the thing, but the benefit for them was that you are much cheaper in rate, and the benefit of the of your outsourcing company is that you learn additional things and you'll be higher priced for the next job. So try asking for a learn on the job position. If you're not absolutely sure, if you're sure of yourself, if you're more confident on that you already have some knowledge on specific areas, then obviously make sure that you get the value for your confidence. This is a terrible outcome if you look at his white or European descent. That's 61% of Stack Overflow is white or European, and only South Asian, and wow, these are all low numbers. Sexual orientation, same thing, 84%. I'm not sure if that's the same rate as in the normal world. I feel it's a little bit high on this part. What I also find interesting is there's no percentage for don't want to say it. Oh, there is. Prefer not to say it. Because who cares? Gender. Ooh, there's 5% women in Stack Overflow. How is that possible? We need to get more women into the STEM subjects, on getting them on technical jobs. Gender minorities. The Netherlands on number 4. 95% women. If you read this, you want to leave leave technology and automation immediately, because who wants to just work in an environment with 91, almost 92% men? And you can see it if you go to like big conferences like what we previously had, TechEd, or this week like a Build. It's not in person, but if you go there, it's not like 90%, but the amount of men is much higher than, and they really need to fix that. But you never know how to fix it. And there you are. This is your other question, like, should I be a front-end developer, or you can see here that the full stack is much higher. When I look at the media, I thought there was a ratio of 70-30, 40-60. Yeah, I think that's more accurate. But as said, this survey is done in the context of Stack Overflow. So that's not, I think that's not completely representative for the real world, because this is already within the group of apparently technical men, mostly. So apparently Stack Overflow, like stackoverflow.com, stackoverflow.com, apparently that's not as attractive to women as for men. So if you're not biased or something and you get to this page, let's accept the cookies for now, and you see this for the first time, as a woman, would you say, well, that's not for me, let's go somewhere else? Apparently it is. The 2022 developer survey is open, so you can already start helping with the survey there. When will be the results? There's no information on that. I don't know. The number of visits is crazy. 45.1 plus billion times a developer got help. And that's really true. You have these memes where you have the book like with programming, we're using Stack Overflow. By the way, I watched their old concerts, by the way. My old records. What old records? Oh, the recordings of the, you mean on YouTube? Soft as in software, soft as in software. Oh, this is not the videos, the playlist, I think. Not sure I'm showing them all. These are all there, like KISS in Amsterdam, 2019. I will go to KISS again in July. I think July 21. KISS Amsterdam, 2022. 21st of July. Oh, that's not the right one. The Mojo concert, that's the one. This is where I'm going, and that's basically the first big concert again after the what's it called? After the COVID thing. And I bought these tickets, I think, 16 months ago already. The remaining cards are really not that expensive. So this one is basically the first one that I will go to. Is it over in the 2 months? But what I also really liked was the concert of The Who. But I also go to normal people music like Elton John and what's in there, Jeff Wayne. This is a really great show. The Jeff Wayne's War of the Worlds show, where they have this the super widescreen video in the back, and then they have this tripod in front. That's the first. I think I've been there 3 times, and the first time there was this giant tripod that was sitting there. There was a static tripod, but the later ones, they are throwing laser beams and things like that. So even that evolved into a greater thing. Lady Gaga, I've been to Lady Gaga indeed. Taylor Hawkins, that's the one from that's the drummer who died recently from let's find his name. Taylor Hawkins. The Foo Fighters. It was the drummer of the Foo Fighters, and he was on this Werchter Rock Festival. I've seen him there with his own band, but he's dead by now. And what do we have more? Like UB40 and some Dutch bands. More Kiss. I've been going to Kiss since the 80s already. Beyoncé. Big names. Tina Turner. Can you imagine? Tina Turner was also very old at this time. Madonna. I've been to Madonna 3 times, I think. Within Temptation. Some Dutch bands. Doema is a Dutch band, and the bass player just died recently. Looks like people are dying where I go to. I'm missing things like, maybe I did not record it, that things like Bruce Springsteen and the Stones. I've been to Bruce Springsteen and the Stones as well, but yeah. So your question is, will you go again soon? But yeah, most of the bands are already. There are really no big bands, I think, that you can remember like they used to be. There will be a concert like ABBA, the ones from Sweden, but that will be a fake, like a virtual concert, and I don't really like that. That's not my thing. I really like to go to big concerts like U2. I've been to U2 as well a couple of times. That are the fun concerts to go to. That's well worth. Otherwise, you can put on a record and turn it your records at home. You have to go to a show that's really a show, I think. So that was a short answer of your question. What to do with your life, basically. And I'm in no position to decide on that. You have to decide on that yourself. But I think your decision on going to React is a good one. If you look at the statistics, that's still high demanded position. But also try to focus on multiple things. Don't be too narrow focused. As I said, with the front end developer, you're probably more than a front end developer. Do you get the old taste from today's concerts? Like what? Name me a few big ones from these days. I always say, if you look like the 60s, you had Elvis and the Beatles and all these big ones, Jimi Hendrix, and all these names. They are still, you still hear them on the radio, and that's the same goes for like big acts from the 70s and the 80s. And I don't really know that many big acts from after the millennium. What big acts do you know? Yeah, like Katy Perry. I'd like to see Katy Perry once more. I've never seen Katy Perry yet, so that would be a candidate that I'd like to go to. I've been to Pink a couple of times, even when he was in a small settings. I've been to Meatloaf, and he also died recently. Yeah, these days, who's a big artist these days? And then I mean a big artist that you still hear about in 10 years from now. Underrated from the old ones. Well, it usually it's a matter of taste. What I really would like to see is like Bob Marley, but he is also dead, so no option to do that anymore. Yeah. The Stones are currently arriving in, I think, in the Netherlands as well. Rolling Stones. Arena Amsterdam 2022. But there you go again with the Stones there. The drummer already died, so it's not complete anymore. So that's a setting. Let's go to the Mojo thing here and let's go through the list. Kings of Leon, I've seen them. Iron Maiden, I've been to Iron Maiden, but the also the early Iron Maiden versions. They have been in the pre-program from Kiss. Well, Bruce Springsteen is also 2023. Korn, that's more like hard rock. Eric Clapton. Well, the Red Hot Chili Peppers is also interesting. But what is modern? Like Ed Sheeran, that's a modern guy, but I really don't feel that he really stands out. Randy Newman is also an old guy, but great music. Bryan Adams, that's a real great show. If you want to go there, I've been to Bryan Adams as well. Oh, these are just musicals, Cirque du Soleil, big festivals. Clubs at that smaller part. So even if you go through the list here, there are not that many big names. Maybe here. Yeah, this is Stones, Lady Gaga. But I've been there already. The Eagles, are they still alive? Well, that's about it. Not that much big names anymore. No, okay. Well, we're completely drifting off here, but that doesn't matter. As long as we have some interaction here with the Software software team. Let's close some things here because I completely forgot what we were doing. That's my old blog, and he made a note that I need to switch that over. Facebook, close that. Twitter, still alive. And then here. I think it was already fixed here. So let's have a look at, did we forget something here? Don't think so. Well, let's try once more. Is the database still in there? There is a database. There we are. Oh, that was what we what I was looking for, the updating of the navigation when the init is done. So if you close this again and then kill the database here, delete, start it again. Now there's an init button. Go to init, it will show there's currently 0 users in the database. So there's nothing we can do here on admin pages. So initializing the database to get the one default user in there based on the secret in the backend. Then now it should update these pages, and it's not because it should show something like admin, and the login first. It should show the login first. Then go to Joe at docus.nl and then test 1234.bang. And now it's redirected to another page, so this is also automatically updated. So now it just asks again, let's see, so should I go deeper into the MERN stack or more in React just front end? One DevOps told me full stack is not for big companies. That's not completely true. I think I work in a very big company, but full stack is also appreciated in very big companies. But then you have to be some sort of a generic. You have to know something about everything, and usually these are like the manager types, because they have to steer on a big developer team and maybe developing with the team. So maybe you're right. If you start working in a big company, then focus on one specific item that they are hiring people for. So what I told you earlier was maybe start like a YouTube channel of what I do here is, and then learn on the job. But then you are learning as you are streaming, but that's not something that everyone is happy to do, because you're basically throwing yourself into the front of the audience, and you have to accept that you can make failures there, and it's visible. If I make a stupid mistake, that will be on YouTube. It's recorded and it will never go away. But who cares? You're learning so much from doing this. And what I'm saying basically is that you don't need to do this in the public. You can do it at home, but you must be sure that you have a driver to continue doing this. Otherwise, after 2-3 weeks, you're falling down into this pit of procrastination, and then stop doing things. And the reason why I say start building a project, because then by building a project you need to learn the things that you that are needed within all the aspects of this. For instance, this website, I need to create a schedule in here, and I need to talk to APIs to get these devices there, and go to another API to collect the videos and go into the video page for the specific things on YouTube. And let's close that again. Is this live? It is live, I think. Yeah, because I'm coughing my lungs out again. And I even wear my old 12-year-old, is it 12? 2011, one of my first build conference shirts, as today is my build .microsoft conference. Let's see what they are doing now.
Really important to help them jump in and become as productive as possible.
Put the audio down. Lots of sessions going on already. Building great apps on Windows. So this is Build Conference 12 already. The first time I think they announced Windows 8, I think. The new Windows version for tablets. And that didn't get really from the ground. It was turned into the ground, I think. Is this way good? What way is good? Building a project. Think of a project that you want to build. I started developing, my first personal project was developing like a record database, or a CD compact disc database, just to keep track of my collection. And by doing that, I learned so much of developing things in back then it was like DBase, the DBase language. In the MongoDB, I was thinking, what was the M in there? MongoDB, there's, I think in big enterprises you still see a lot of SQL Server. Smaller projects are often like we seen in this one, a SQLite, but SQLite is not considered to be production ready. If you have a big website, you probably not use SQLite, and then MongoDB is also a good option. We used to have the lamp stack. A lamp in Dutch is well, usually in English is also a lamp, but then it's the bulb, lighting. If you're just searching for lamp, you get all these light options. Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. I find it interesting that it's always a combination of PHP, Perl, of Python. The Linux stack. So MySQL is also in there. MariaDB. Never heard of that. Must be old. So I was looking to get this updated, the bar updated without navigation. Should say refresh, probably refresh. Blazor navigation component. How do I refresh the Blazor component without reloading? Oh, what was that? You can refresh the Blazor component using Signal R component without reloading the page. When using Signal R, saving the changes in one page notifies the changes in another. Made to other clients during the notification project, call the data loading method to reload the changes made to the component without reloading the entire page. But this is only the current component, what I want to update. What? That's the thing again. I want to put the state has changed on the specific other component. Is what I think I'm looking for. Force reload Blazor component. Force reload Blazor navlink. This will bypass the client-side routing and forces the browser to load the component from the server. Yeah. Navigation menu, selected style. Navlink match all. That could be an option if we just reload the same page again. Thanks, Nadjurt. Hope to see you back soon. it's 22:35 already. Only 35. What I wanted to do is, where is it? Like the initdb. What we could do here is do the same as in register. If the result is successful, then navigate to but then we also don't need to update the state change. Here in the DB, in that case, we could do as a success status code. There's no use to do the user count again because the user count's already done earlier then. So in this case there are errors. Else navigate to initdb. So it's not redirecting to something else. Where's the register there? Navigation manager. There. We also need to inject the navigation manager. Navigation manager. Apparently private is too restricting. So this should redirect it if there are no errors to redirect it to the current page. The question is, do we also need to do the change state if we change the arrows there? So to test that, we need to first delete the database again. Where's delete? Oh, it's still running. Delete. Then we need to change the password again to let it fail to see the error message. Test, test, test. That will get it to fail. There it is. Swagger on top. Then do the init. There's 0 users. Now let's init. That should fail. And it is failing, but it's not showing because of the state change is not triggered. See, that's something that I kind of expected. So we need to fix that as well. In here. State has changed. That will re-trigger the page itself, but not so much the menu. Let's run that. Here we are again. Init still 0 users, and initialize. Now you see that there's an error. That's good. Still no users, and there's no need to refresh that. So that's good. Now do the happy path. Changing the settings to test 1234.bang again. And F5. There we are in it. Now we have a valid password in the initializer. Oh. So it did succeed, but it was not. Let's see, let's reload this. Now it initializes. Not showing anymore in the menu. So that did not work. There was, I think it was mentioned. Routing and navigation. Navigate to force load, navigate to navigate to, so that should be force load, should be true, not true, true. Kill the database again, and first kill the website here, then delete the database. revive it again. Now if it's successful, then it should go force reloading it. There's Swagger. There, so let's init 0 database, and then we have to initialize. Now it's reloading, and now it's showing there's currently one user in the database. No need to initialize the database again. I also could redirect it to login. Because that would be the next step. Joe at docus. .nl I said test 1234.bang. Now we are logged in, and now you can basically register another one, like Jane at docus.nl test 1234.bang, test 1234.bang again, submit. Now it's I need to log out, log in. Jane at docus.nl test 1234.bang. Good. Now we are Jane, and we can add a new one, and the admin page is also active. So this should be good. If we log out again, there we have the login with no initialization code anymore, so that's also good. So this is how it should be. One of the things that I basically want to do in the admin page is clear the cache that's used in the memory of this YouTube thingy. But I want to put that into the options. GitHub. Go to projects, software in software, a user secret option in Azure Vault. I also might consider that doing with Azure Vault instead of like a configuration item. Add security authentication to the website to only show admin options after logging in. That's fixed by now. Add a new tag to current running video. I think that's already in there. Like it's live. Clean up the old .NET Core versions. Let's have a quick check if the if the new J packages are all up to date. Where is it? No. Manage new J packages for the solution. Updates. Do we have updates? We do have updates. 45605, all 45, and we have a YouTube update. So let's try this. Update all. Yes. Accept. No updates found. Installed. Yes, that looks good. Let's see if it still runs. Yeah, it still runs. Let's do Ctrl F5 to force some updates in there. My lettering is, my font is not outlined there. Gear, let's see if the gear is still running. Yes. Login. Joe at docus. .nl test 1234.bang. That's working, so log off again. And I now want to fix the button. Let's look for one of the items like submit. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Submit button like this. This is on a form. Let's search for buttons. Social button. That's part of the main button. Where is it? Razor. There, basically. Let's go to the initdb page. Where's the button? There. On click should be initialize db. Oh. And the text. This one only has an icon. I don't want to get only the icon. Now it should be more like a button. We can put it in a div, maybe, and then center the button. Center, bootstrap 5, I think. Save. And then throw the database out again. And no, you don't want to open it. Delete. Yes. F5. Oh, that's nice. A white button. I thought it was, yeah, it was forced into and then logging in. Yeah, that's good. Oh, this one is blue. And these have the color of the socials. There's no button here. My blog pages. DB init. Oh, that's now blocked because that's only available when what? DB init? Init DB, I think it's init DB. Yes, it's init DB. Init DB. There it is again. That's more or less like a card. Logging in. Joe at Docus. Test 1234. Bang. Same layout. You'd almost think that about should be always at the end, maybe. Go to the navigation menu. Get some space in the code. Let's run this. There. Now about is always to the right. Log off. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, dot bang. Oh, that's not right. Test 1, 2, 3, 4 dot bang. There is. The about is now still on the right. That should be good, I think. Register. There should be a different icon, I think. What's the Ionic, I think. Ionic. Open eye icon. Oh, I notepad. I think that's in the style sheet. Where's the style sheet? My throat is acting up. Share properties in here, maybe. Script. CSS, open iconic. There. Copy. HTTP, not HTTPS. Search for like notepad, register. No. No. What would be a good register thingy? Paintbrush. Check mark. What's this? That's strange dashboard. Document. Folder. What shall we use to register a key? A key would be a good option, I think. Person. Person is also a good thing, I think. People. I think people would be a good one. OI people. Go in here. Where is the registering? It's in the log display. There. Register should be people. Let's see if it's changed. If we log in here, Joe at Docus test 1234.bang. There is registers people icon. There should also be an option to delete the user. Like unregister the user. This is adding a user. So if I'm an admin, I should get a list of users and then maybe put a delete button behind every user. So that means we also need user management. User management. Add, well, basically CRUD. Create, read, update and delete. Do I also have gear? Yes, that's gear items CRUD options. Fix initializer, only see it if needed. I think that's fixed. Reset seed option. That would mean like clearing the database. Dark theming by Nazert. Option. Private video thumbnail. That's also something we need to fix. Ideas page. CRUD. Same thing. There was another one. Schedule page. Edit as well. Convert to issue. Save note. Create a user secret option. Let's put it now back on the backlog. Add a new. Let's put that on the backlog. Clean up all .NET Core versions in the live coder VM. Let's put that on the backlog as well. So there's nothing in progress now. It's already past 11 now, and as you can hear, my throat is giving up on me. So I think the best thing would be if we just excuse me, go and commit the changes here, and then check, do some testing on production if that's still working. Let's have a look at the changes there. What did we change? We changed the app settings. I think we can change that back to what it was. I think there should be no changes at all. There's only a space missing, or added I should say. So that could be reverted back to what it was. The project, that's updated because we have new software versions. New J packages I should say. Google API is updated. The other ones are already 6.5. So did I change that manually then? That's good. The DB init, that's good. The Razor files, C#. Login display is now adding a login display Razor file. Menu layouts changed a little bit, and this one, let's have a look at that. This was updated apparently to newer version 6.5. So under the caching, is that not updated? Well, it should be okay, I think. So wrapped up all initial security options and read several minor fixes like navigation and such. Then let's commit and sync. Now the question is, will this override the complete database again, or maybe not? We also need to fix all these nullable things. Let's put that into backlog as well. Projects. Software. Fix all the nullable warnings. It should be copy card link. Refactor. Okay, so we have a clean sheet right now here. Let's go to the actions, repositories, software.com should now go into actions. That's building. In the meantime, let's close this up here. Did you hear that Maui was now general available? We need to do some sessions on Maui as well, I think. But first finish up some basics on Blazor. Because you can now mix up Maui and Blazor as well, I think. Oh, there's the red thingy there. Updates of the software YAML that failed. Let's delete that. Yeah. Still working. When it's finished, that will give you an option to jump over to build. Oh, there's one finished now. I think there's no need to do a raid with this big number of viewers currently in the chat. So we silently drop off. So let's have a look. Soft as in software. In production. Let's see if it's already up and running. At least there is 605 in there. We have a login and an about. So we have a registration apparently. So log in there and then use the credentials for that. Copy username. That's already in there. No. Need to disable the spell checker on things like that. Happy Tuesday, Defiance. We're just on the edge of stopping the show today because, as you can hear, my throat is killing me. Just do a final test on production here. Submit. That works. I'm logged in now. Oh, that's not so nice. It should be basically behind that. I think they have a max width on that. This is now nice. That's good. Logged in, so log out. And the admin page is gone again. Looks good. The videos are on there. Gear is on there. I think everything is fixed. Cookies. This is the lens that I recently bought. It's not the one that we are currently using. Currently we are using this one. That's that one. Giving this nice bokeh effect on the background. So good. Yeah, let's go to the main window there. So we made some good progress. We finally, I think we can close now the entity framework thing that we have in place now, and go up to the next topic next week. In the meantime, in 2 days, Thursday, I think that's Ascension Day. I hope I don't offend people with that. But I will do streaming on Ascension Day as well. But then that will be the Office add-in development session where I do live streaming on Office development. And we are building our add-ins. In this case, an Excel add-in preparing that for the official Microsoft sample repo. That will be done on Thursday. And for now, thanks everyone. If you want to subscribe and hit the bell if you don't already do so, or go on Twitch, follow me and subscribe or whatnot to make me incredible rich again. Thanks for watching. I see you on Ascension Day in 2 days again. Thanks for watching, and I hope my throat will be a little bit better next time. Thanks everyone. Thanks Defiance. Have a great one. You too. Bye bye. And I need to put in the end lead. Bye bye.